Alright, what is good? It is the Mass Ranker back once again. That is right, today we are the Mass Ranker again because we are doing a tier list for all of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. That is right, we have finished reviewing all the movies in the franchise, so we are now doing a tier list for said movies. Just before we begin, a quick piece of good news. I think I did figure out finally how to I figured out a method of how I'm able to record during certain hours of the day, which means that I might be able to get videos out faster than I was expecting to, so that is good news for me and hopefully good news for you guys if you're enjoying the content. Anyway, with that said, let us begin with the first movie. Just a second, I just realized something I have to do. Alright, I just realized that I forgot to be screen recording, so now everything is set, and so let us begin with Casino Royale, which I would give A tier. I'd say that Casino Royale was a very good movie. I liked it a lot. It had good poker scenes. Le Chef was a good villain played by Mads Mikkelsen. This was the first movie, and I think that Daniel Craig showed that he is capable of playing the James Bond character pretty well. Yeah, there was, I do think that it was a bit convoluted towards the start. Once it, like, everything before the poker scene was a bit, like, all over the place. There was the airport scene, which was good. I like that. I do think the last, like, 30 minutes could have been, like, cut down a bit. I didn't really care for the whole, to be honest, Vesper as a character, like, her whole thing, like, she was in the first movie, and she becomes, like, this key character throughout the entire franchise, but she's really only in the first movie, and I don't know, her character didn't really seem that special or anything, but I guess it was like James Bond. I'm assuming it wasn't like his first love or anything because it's James Bond. I'm assuming that he's been with like more women before Vesper, so I don't know why she was like so particularly special, but whatever. Anyway, A tier I would give it. So moving on to Quantum of Solace. This is probably the worst movie in the franchise. It's just that Dominic Crenn, he wasn't the best villain. He was pretty generic, and he didn't really have that interesting of a plan. It was just like take over all the water in Bolivia and then just profit off of that. That was, I don't know, it just wasn't really as cool as any of the other villains, really. So D tier. Also, you had, I guess the setting was nice. It was Bolivia. There was some nice like sand areas, but probably the setting here doesn't really compare to any of the other settings in the franchise. So overall, yeah, it's just a D tier. Not really a great movie in my opinion. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to Skyfall. Skyfall, I will give A tier above Casino Royale. This was my favorite in the franchise. I thought that Silva was the best villain. I thought this stuff with M was great. This was this was the first movie to introduce Q. Q's a great character. Liked him a lot. The whole stuff with like the technology versus like the old ways, and do you still need spies in this new world full of technology? I thought that was good. And yeah, overall, it was just a great movie. A lot of good action scenes, a lot of good set pieces. Skyfall, the final area was good. Yeah, overall, just a great movie in my opinion. And yeah, the opening scene also. This was the first Adele song. I'm not an Adele fan. This was the opening scene with the Skyfall song. First Adele song that I've actually liked. It was great. I liked it a lot. Moving on to Spectre. Spectre, I will give a C tier. I thought that it had a lot of missed potential. Spectre as an organization is very cool, but ultimately it does fall short. I keep saying this, if they had gone with something more like John Wick Parabellum specifically, where you just have this like giant, like if you had like a city's worth of people hunting down James Bond, it would have been much cooler in my opinion, but instead you have James Bond going after Spectre, which just didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really work out as well as I guess I would have hoped. Christoph Waltz, he's also in this. He is good. However, I did like him more in No Time to Die. No Time to Die, he did feel better. Like the exchange that he had with Bond was much more cool for his character, I thought, than anything he did in this movie. He was, honestly, in this movie, like he dies pretty easily. Like he escapes in a helicopter and then he just gets shot down and stuff. And he was in like 2 or 3 other scenes. I guess like the torture scene was fine, I guess, but everything else, like I don't know, he just didn't. Like he was a good villain, I guess, especially in No Time to Die. No Time to Die, it really made me like the character more, but in Spectre, like, I don't know, it feels like missed potential with him, like it felt like he could have done more. I really like the opening scene though, the opening scene with the whole Day of the Dead, very cool. With the helicopter fight there. There was some nice snowy areas also in this movie, which was nice. Madeline is fine, I guess, in this movie. She's better also in No Time to Die though. And so yeah, C tier I would give it. And yeah, finally we have No Time to Die, which I would give B tier. I would give it it's middle of the road in terms of the James Bond movies. It has good moments, especially the ending. The ending was like one of the best scenes in the entire franchise, I thought. I thought that the settings were also very good with the silo and also some more snowy areas at the start of the movie. Madeline's relationship with Bond is good in this, better than in Spectre. You also have Matilda in the mix. I forgot to speak about this character in my review that I just released for No Time to Die, but there's 007, the new 007, who is Naomi. She is, I guess, because I forgot to speak about her in my review, I guess that kind of shows she's a bit forgettable. I do think at first, like, she does come off as like unlikable because she's replacing James Bond and stuff, which you know, if you're a fan of James Bond, you obviously don't want to see that. So yeah, but she does like end up becoming like pretty useful and like helpful to Bond. So there's kind of like not really a respect there, but like, you know, they do end up working together, which I thought was nice. So that is what I have to say about her character. Other than that, you have I thought Rami Malek's he did a good job acting out as Safin. However, Safin's character I didn't really like that much. His whole thing was like he wanted revenge on Mr. White, so he goes after his whole family, and then he goes after Madeline, I guess, and so in turn he's going after Bond, and then I don't know, he ends up getting the bioweapon, which is pretty cool. It's like nanotech that's able to like kill based on DNA, and then but then I don't know, his motive is like, oh, I'm selling this because, you know, there's a few set of people that are meant to like control the world or whatever. It just seems stupid, and I don't really like it that much. Also, the whole thing with Spectre, like I said in the last first Spectre, like this organization, it is still really cool even if it's underutilized. And in this movie, just all of Spectre just ends up dying. That's what they go with. Like, first of all, I don't think all of Spectre was at that party. Like, okay, even if all of Spectre was at that party, like everyone just happened to die there because they released like some, I guess, gas or something. So I guess it would have spread to everyone there. But still, it feels like really annoying how they just like wasted Spectre's potential. It feels like, although there are like your Blofeld, his scenes were good, like everything. The exchange that he had with Bond, that was good. There was some good action with the cars at the beginning, the chase scenes and stuff. So this movie had a lot of good stuff. It also had a lot of bad stuff though, which is why I'm putting it right in the middle. So yeah, that seems about fair. So with that said, that is. So that is my ranking of the James Bond, Daniel Craig movies. Overall, I would give the franchise probably a 7 out of 10. I thought that it was pretty good. Nothing, though, like here, Skyfall was the best one. I would give it an 8. Quantum Solace was the worst one. I would give it like a 4.5. So, middle of the road, it's I give it a 7 out of 10 franchise. I think that it is a pretty good franchise, I would say. So with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. If you have any movie, anime, show, story, video game story, lore recommendations for me, leave them in the comments. And yeah, with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.